Okay, there's Nitesh. Nitesh, you can turn off your video right now. When your turn comes, you can probably turn it on. Okay, so a little bit about, so I'll talk a little bit about recession. So when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, 2008, 2009, at that time there was the last recession, and that was when, it really hit hard. I was in the US, and US was hit really badly. So now I started as a college entrepreneur. I was very successful very quickly, winning competitions, winning awards, getting lots of free money, press coverage, and all that. Built a beautiful team, and as you can see, we won 15 business line competitions. We were one of the most prominent startups at the time, being an entrepreneur idol in America. Uh, Again, being mentored by billionaires, at the time CEO of Motorola, people who have done amazing things. So the person who uh, invented the cell phones, the person who invented barcode, the person who invented garage door openers. People like these who are actually interested in helping us out and guiding us and investing their money and all of that. And then suddenly this happened that we graduated from college, and we got $40,000 in prize money. That was free money, but as investors were supposed to come in, we hit a recession. And many of those billionaires and whatnot, they backed off. They said, sorry, Avelo, we are losing money every day. We have to fire our employees. We cannot invest in your startup. And we didn't give up. Many startups in front of our eyes got ruined, destroyed. Many of them, dreams got destroyed. And I still remember none of them has actually touched business ever again. Those guys are all working in corporate jobs. Some got master's degrees, some became lawyers, some became PhDs and whatnot. But the point is, we didn't give up. And the 2000 recession hit us. We were going through, really difficult times. I had 1 month's rent left. And me and my business partner at the time were wondering, Edward and I were like wondering what to do. How do we pay our rent? What do we do? And I used to love baking cheese biscuits. And one of our friends who tasted these biscuits, they were like, these are amazing, you should sell them. And Edward and I were like, we have nothing to lose, might as well sell cheese biscuits. And we went to our local grocery stores and bakers and all, and asked them, will you buy our cheese biscuits? They had a taste. They're like, these are amazing. They'll buy them, but we'll sell them, but we will take 60% commission, and you'll get only 40%. And so at that time, we couldn't afford to have that big of a commission. So we were like, we will directly sell it on the streets of Chicago. So summertime, Saturday, I would bake 8 hours a day. And Sunday, we and my business partner would go out on the streets of Chicago and would sell cheese biscuits, 9-10 hours a day. And in 21 days, we got our first dollar. And in 30 days, we were 600% profitable, because we figured out what was happening. This was Americans, they have issues with diets. They are lactose intolerant. They cannot drink milk. A lot of middle-aged women have gluten intolerance. A lot of people have intolerance to, all kinds of food, that is not good for them. So what I did was I found Indian alternatives to all of those things they were looking for. And they're used to paying a lot more for those alternatives. And we were able to get it for dirt cheap. For example, one of the things people are allergic to is gluten, which is in gehu, in wheat. So what we did was I looked up what kind of gluten-free flour is out there. And in one of the grocery stores, they said garbanzo bean flour. It's a big way of saying besan. So we went to the Indian grocery store, got besan, and made biscuits out of besan. And that was completely fine. People were okay. Their health didn't affect, right? So like that, we were able to add value to very niche market, right? People who cared about yoga, vegetarian food, healthy food, had allergies, had problems. We were catering to that market, and we were making money, So 2 days a week, we were working on this, and 5 days a week on our technology business. And that way we survived, 3 months. And then when winter was about to hit us, we got funded, and everything changed for us thereafter. So the point I'm going to share with you is that we built a business in recession when everybody else was leaving startups. Everybody was thinking like, how are these guys doing it? In fact, it was very tiring, 7 days of work without any stop. We were just going on and 18 hours days, working full time for technology business, and to survive, to eat food, we were also working on our food business, right? But in the picture you can see a lot of smile there, a lot of satisfaction in our hearts from all the struggles. In fact, we were even featured on Huffington Post that despite the economy, college grads are set to launch their innovative product. They wrote a whole article how we are just not going to give up, even though no one is investing, and none of these investors are even looking at startups, right? So what happened was everybody was like, this is not the time to build startups. Economy is so bad, and everybody gave up. All the other startups that had very capable people, PhDs and masters, we were just undergraduates, 20-year-olds. They gave up. So the investors had less choices, and we had all the investors that we could approach. We tried 300 rejections, and then we got our first funding, right? So that's basically the mindset of an entrepreneur. And the biggest thing why we got funded is not because we were kids and we had an idea, because we had an amazing world-class team. A team, former Motorola, former L'Oreal, former Wrigley. These people, we were able to drag them out of their jobs and bring them to our business. And that's the entrepreneurial aspect of a businessman, of a guy who can get the right people to their team. If you don't get the right people, investors will not invest, because you can have the best idea, you can have the best product also, but startups fail when they don't have the right execution team with the right background. That's why a lot of IIM, IIT guys get funded. Why? Because they've proven they have brains, right? They might be arrogant, they might have a lot of issues, but they have brains, that's for sure. Or people who have gone through a lot of good companies, some work experience, again, that they have gone through enough that they know work ethics, they have some experience, they know the industry, they know where the inefficiencies are. So the team really, really matters, right? So in that recession, we were able to get these guys out. And because one of the things was they were fearful. They knew they could lose their jobs. What did they have to lose? This was their time to join a startup and make it big. And so did we. We made it not only one, but one after another, we made it big. And still, many of them are actually on our board in Kolkata Ventures and helping us through. And many of the businesses that I have been involved in, the same people and more, our family has grown. There's a lot more people, but we have collaborated and we have helped each other out through ups and downs. And that's what we need during recession, is helping each other out, having the right people who are not scared in the face of failure, but take it as a challenge and grow with it. In fact, and then of course, you guys know press, media and all that, how things work. Everybody likes to talk about the success, but they don't talk about the sweat and the blood that goes behind making that success. And that's what your TED Talk is in the making. As you go through this recession, COVID-19, you will realize that it's difficult. All of us are going through difficulties. But at the end of it, when you're successful and others who are quitting right now, that's the difference. That's when you will talk about, yes, we went through all that and this is why. And you will also give presentations like this 10 years from now, that how we survived the coronavirus and came out victorious, right? Hopefully. And of course, Kolkata Ventures happened once I came back to India. Personally, for me, that was a very difficult time. That was, there were deaths in my family. I had to uproot myself from Chicago. My house, my cars, my friends, my business contacts, everything was in the US. And as an entrepreneur, it was very devastating for me, actually, to come to India. But I didn't have access to my father's network, right? So all I had to do was create my own network. I went on social media and started doing videos and blogging and talking and making sure people know that I exist, Kolkata Ventures exists. And thus there was this splurge of people who are like, what is happening in the east part of India where nothing happens, right? The government of the United States came in and said, we want to support you. And immediately there was a boom. We did our first Kolkata Ventures event in American Center, and there were 398 people, almost 400 people that came, and we never looked back. We have ever since been the monopoly in East India as far as startups are concerned. 400 plus startups, 303 countries, 2 exits so far, 10 crores raised, right? So it's been a great journey for Kolkata Ventures. And now when, again, COVID-19 happened, one of our revenues, one of our revenue streams is from our events. And we were like, what do we do? But then turns out we were paying a lot of money, for these 5-star hotels or big venues that we pay for, food and all the things that goes in making an event successful. And with webinars, those costs just vanish. And we were like, hey, why did we do this before? Let's do webinars. And people are like, yeah, this is great. And we don't have to be geographically located to one place. And this is fantastic. So far, we have already, in the matter of 3 or 4 weeks, we have already done, I think, 5 webinars, or 3 or 4 webinars from Kolkata Ventures, and probably like 20 plus webinars from other organizations, right? And that is great. We are getting so much reach. So many people are losing jobs and they're wanting to become entrepreneurs. So again, we evolved our system. We already had virtual incubation program from 2016. And now it's the right time for virtual incubation and webinars, So we don't have to leave our homes, and we are helping startups from not just India, from also other countries. And it's growing more and more. More and more people want to join us from other countries. So Sarvanu was telling me we should have some way of accepting foreign credit cards, because we're just rejecting them right now. So anyway, these are some of our celebrated startups. One of the CEOs of the startup, Nitesh, is here from Dealzo. Also our own Kolkata Venture CEO will be joining us at the end, Neeraj Krishna. These guys have gotten funded. Dealzo actually got exit. So Nitesh will talk about unconventional ways of lead generation. And so some of the things also we do is we have a very strong presence in universities, top tier universities. So we have collaborated, Kolkata Ventures has collaborated with all these IITs and IIMs, and I personally go and guest lecture at these universities, talking about entrepreneurship and marketing. Now, talking about COVID-19 opportunity. So many of you think that this is a curse, what's going to happen, the economy is going to tank. And entrepreneurs don't think like that. We are different with genre, right? There's one of my favorite CEOs, he has this thing in his wall that says, never let a good opportunity go by. Never let a good opportunity go by. So whenever some of his employees come and say, sir, this is what happened. Oh my God, everything's going to collapse. He's like, points at the wall. He's like, never let a never let a good crisis go by. Right? So he points at the wall, never let a good crisis go by. So whenever there's a trouble, he just points at that, and the employees know they have to figure out how to make the best use of this crisis situation. So COVID-19, I see it as an opportunity, and this picture actually helps you. Many of you might have seen a cyclist climbing a bridge, holding onto a truck or a bus. And because they're holding on to a Big Daddy, they don't have to pedal. They can just go at the speed of the truck or the bus. And so that's what's happened because of COVID-19. Because there's a huge turmoil, a lot of fear, a lot of demand has also been created. A lot of new demands. Imagine a person's, once this opens up and offices open up and whatnot, every office building, every railway station, every airport will need to have those wired, what do you call those? Infrared thermometers, right? They will need gloves, they will need masks, they will need hand sanitizers. I don't know what else they will need, right? A lot of new things will come up as a result of COVID-19. Anything that deals with touching or being congregated in a place is not going to happen. Anything digital is going to boom, right? Remote working is going to become a norm. It's already become a norm. TCS has mentioned they have 400,000 employees, 4 lakh employees. And TCS has said 75% of those guys are going to permanently work from home. TCS has such huge buildings. I don't know what they're going to do with the empty space, but the point is remote working is going to be the norm. That means you can have, as a startup, you can have the most talented people from all over India working for you. Why all over India? From even other countries like Vietnam, cheaper countries than India, South Africa, wherever else, right? In fact, I'll just give you an example of remote working. I don't like remote working, but now I'm getting used to it. And the flyer that you saw for this event, it was made by a guy sitting in remote village in Rajasthan. And he only charged me 100 rupees for that design. Can you believe that? 100 rupees? I was having graphic designers working for me, charging me 30,000 rupees a month, right? And here is a guy designing for me for 100 rupees. Unbelievable. That's what you get out of remote working. So you can have a great team as a startup around the country from tier 2, tier 3 places where there's talent. People don't charge too much money. They don't have to spend too much money because you don't have to drive around. You don't have to go on a plane. You don't have to have a fancy place, city life, all of that, right? So this is the new norm. So there's an opportunity for startups to, again, be bootstrap and build cheap. I love this quote from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Many people are not successful because they fail to fail enough number of times. They let fear hold them back. So many of you startups, you'll be like, oh my God, I've lost half my clients. I'm losing money. And there is this problem and that problem and whatnot, right? Now, the thing is, yes, all of those problems are true. And that just means you have to learn to pivot. You have to learn to do something else with your business. And that's what today's presentation is all about. We're going to talk about re-engineering your business model. We're going to talk about ways of lead generation. We're going to talk about even you as an entrepreneur, probably doing some side hustle, side business, so you can survive and make your startup survive. Like we did with OMG Biscuits. You can also start your own side hustle depending on your talent, your skills that you have, and accordingly you can survive this time period and then thrive thereafter, post-COVID-19, right? But we'll start with investor strategies, right? Okay, there are 13 questions. No, okay, sorry, I'm seeing something else. Okay, so investor strategies. So investor strategies for startups during and post-COVID-19. So again, I have given like 5 webinars on this already. So it's like really good content that I have for you. So let's first understand the category of investors that we have. Friends, family, fools. This is where you start from. They love you. That's why they put their money into your business. They don't care about your business. They don't understand your business, but because they love you, they give money. So, and sometimes you have some savings you put in the business. So this is your skin in the game that, okay, telling the investor, you're not the only one investing. With my limited capacity, I have already put in some, right? And now it's your turn. With my effort, I have done this much. Now you can help me get from here to there. Crowdfunding. Again, crowdfunding, you can go to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all of these places, Republic, and even our own incubated startup, CrowdPouch. They're the first crowdfunding platform in India. So crowdfunding is a great way for startups to showcase that here is a product that I'm going to build and let investors throw in money. So like CrowdPouch has 500 different investors, right? A place like Kickstarter might have millions of investors actually. And investors doesn't mean these are like millionaires. These are people who allocate maybe $1,000 a month that they will put into new products, new things that they want, cool things, early adopters. So that's crowdfunding. If you don't know it, Google it, go find crowdfunding platforms. But great way to start a startup with the help of crowdfunding without an investor, right? If you have a viral product, in fact, this helps you get investors because you're already having customers before you have a product. There's a validation of your concept, right? So when investors see you're already crowdfunding, investors are like, take my money because you already proved it. Then comes angel investors. Angel investors are HNIs, high net worth individuals who are like, you know what? I have some money set aside. I'm putting it into stocks. I'm putting it into real estate. I'm putting it into this and that. And I'll put some into startups also. High risk startups, fine. High returns or not, I'm putting some into startups. So those are angel investors. And during COVID-19, don't expect angel investors to even talk to you because they're losing money every day and they're just unhappy about it. So don't expect angel investors at this time. Venture capitalists, they are very much in the game. Why? Because venture capitalists are not investing necessarily their own money. They have a pool of funds where other investors have invested in. Right? And they have promised those investors, and in 10 years, I'm going to give you 10x return. Now, there's a gun to their head from their investors. So they put a gun to your head. So they're under the gun to invest money, even if it is COVID-19, even if it is recession, even whatever happens, right? So some of our startups have gotten funded during COVID-19 as a result from VCs, venture capitalists, because that's the way venture capital works. They have a time, they are under the gun, and they need to allocate the funds as soon as possible, because they know once the money goes out, it will take time for that money to grow and come back in. And in 90% of the cases, startups will fail. 10% of the cases, the startups will succeed, and those startups will make up for the startups that have failed. So it's very important for the venture capitalists to invest. And the most important thing is during COVID-19, many of the startups are struggling. They don't have liquidity, they don't have help. And so venture capitalists have a leverage. They can get better valuation now. Just like stocks, right? All these wonderful stocks have fallen. HDFC used to be like 1,200, and now HDFC is 900, right? Reliance was 1,400, came down to 800, went up to 1,600 actually. Today it's 1,400 something. So, but anyway, all these banks, all stocks are down. So this is a great time for investors to invest in stocks. Similarly, it is a great time for investors to invest in startups, especially those who are under the gun to invest, right? So for venture capitalists, they're desperate to invest in high growth startups at a dirt cheap price. So this is a great time for you to get investment from venture capitalists. Now, venture capitalists are not the only investors who have a gun. There are venture capital funds created by corporate investors. So for example, Samsung Ventures, Amazon Ventures, Google Ventures, Xiaomi Ventures, right? All of these big companies, Amazon, they also have a venture fund. All of these guys have money allocated for investing, and they are under the gun from the corporate that in 10 years, you guys have to invest this money and it has to come back to us. We need return on investment. And we are not only, these guys don't only put in money, they also give you their thing. So Google might give you a lot of ads, ad-related revenue, not revenue, investment. Amazon gives you AWS credits, right? IBM might give you access to Watson for a dirt cheap. Microsoft might give you access to Azure and the whole suite of softwares that Microsoft has. Amazon might give you some special category in the startup. So all of them will have something or other along with money that comes. Times of India might give you a 65% discount on their properties, right, for advertising. So they're a corporate investor. So they're also under the gun to invest, get startups, and they're already investing during COVID-19, right? Banks and government agencies. So now 20 lakh crores, Modi has said, but 20 lakh crores applies a lot in terms of startup world. It is mostly fund of funds, right? It is mostly in terms of those who have gotten funded, can get funded more. Those who are going to get funded, government is going to match those funding. So let's say somebody is investing 1 crore in your company, the government is going to match 1 crore with you. So already the government of India had a 10,000 crore fund of funds that they were already investing through. Then some state governments might also have fund of funds where the central government matches and the state government matches. So you're basically, you get one investor to invest and you get 2 more investments from the government. Another startup of ours, they were mentioning that if they get $100,000 investment from India, being a German startup, they get $250,000 grant money from Germany. And they did that, right? They got $100,000 commitment, and then German government also. So like that, there is a lot of matching investments. So COVID-19, if you think people are not getting invested, you're really missing out. This is the time for investors to get dirt cheap valuation on startups, to push them hard, because startups have liquidity issues. And for startups, it's also a great time because other startups who are dying, who don't have the ability to push forward, you have less competition. So your investors have to listen to you because you are the one thriving through, right? So you have to just survive. That means you might have to cut down on firing, you might have to cut down on extra costs like office space or firing people or whatever else, that fact that you can reduce so you can survive through this. One of my very dear mentors from Los Angeles, he runs a business which has a revenue of $160 million every year. And 1st of April, he writes to me, Avelo, I just fired 2,100 of my 2,800 employees. 2,100 employees fired. And the reason why I did that, and he was explaining to me, he mentors me, he said, you should understand, I'm not trying to be Jesus Christ here. I'm not trying to save my employees. I am trying to save my business and my core employees, which is 700 of them. So I have enough money to sustain them for 2 years. But if I had to sustain 2,100, I would not even sustain for 10 months, right? So if my business sustains and my core employees sustain, then even with 20% revenue, 20% sales, we will sustain through, and we can hire back many of those guys we fired. But if we all die, then who wins? No one wins. So it's important to understand that yes, it's a difficult time, but you have to survive. Just survive through. And while you're surviving, this is the time to go to investors, get funded, and go all out. If you have traction. If you don't have traction, you're screwed. If you're early stage idea, I'll tell you what you'll have to do. If you're not investor ready, I'll tell you what you'll have to do. Okay. So for those who are investor ready, another slide for you. Investor is looking for you as a founder, very important, validated skills and your energy level, your reputation, how people talk about you and whatnot. Founding team, again, team, people. You have to have a founding team capable of execution. Market validation, product market fit. Is there anything you have done beyond PowerPoint that validates that people want your product? That means pre-sales, that means letter of intent, that means users, daily active users, monthly active users, retention rate on your app if you have an app, right? So all of those should show, the data should show, the Google Analytics should speak, the Facebook pixels should talk about how your product is validated by your market. Right? Even if you don't have revenue, it's okay, but the analytics should talk. Geographical proximity doesn't apply so much because people are more inclined now to digital. But still, if you are close to an investor, it's better. They get to oversee how things are going and help you out with their network. Traction thus far, already talked about it. Scalability, how scalable are you? How can you grow massively over the next 3 years? So understand COVID-19 is a problem, but the opportunity is 5G. The opportunity is extended reality. That means virtual and augmented reality. How is dating going to change? How is meetings going to change? How is teleportation is going to be a possibility, not like you're going to move physically, but you're going to have a meeting and whiteboarding while somebody's from China, somebody's from Australia, and all of that. I was just talking to a friend of mine from Chicago. He was telling me that teleportation is already happening. It's just very rudimentary stage. With 5G, it's going to be so clear and so real. And he was also mentioning he's an expert on the porn industry. So it's like he's going to boom the porn industry, right? So the point is, with 5G, everything will change. Are you ready for it? Are you relevant for 5G? Are you relevant for all the data that's going to come from the IoT, the smart devices? You're going to be at home. So people are going to invest more in their homes to make it into smart homes, right? More gadgets, more ways of making your life efficient. So what are you going to do, right? So are you scalable? Go-to-market strategy. How are you going to acquire your first 100 customers, your first 10 customers, right? Timeline for execution. When will you do what? Do you know as an entrepreneur? Have you planned through it? Use of funds and financial projection. How much money do you want? Telling people like, I want 8 to 10 crores. There's a huge difference between 8 crores and 10 crores. That means you don't know what you want, right? You have to, I'm not telling you to say 8 crores, 55 lakhs, something like that, but at least you should know precisely what the need of the business is, right? That you need funding for. How are you going to allocate the funds? So, financial projections and exit strategy. How is the investor going to get his money back? That's what the investor wants to hear. Generally, as an entrepreneur, we talk about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and this is that. And I've gotten so much press media and awards and this and that. Yes, all good. But how are you going to grow my money and how are you going to give it back to me? Is it through a big investor will buy me out? Is it through acquisition, acqui-hire? Is it through IPO? How are you going to give me my money back? That's what the investor wants to hear, right? Okay. If you didn't get anything out of that slide, remember this. Credible team, capable of execution. If you can do this little bit during COVID-19, you're set. You're set. Your traction, your team, and you can get funded. If you're scalable and all the things I mentioned. Even if 5 of those are right, you can get funded. Okay. A little bit of analysis of the impact of COVID-19 on various industries. So the reason why I'm going to do this for you is you might have to shift markets. You just might have to. You might be in the IT space, you might have to move to health tech or biotech or something else, entertainment. So, and that's okay, you're a startup, right? It's okay. But let's just go through what industries are going to bust and what industry are going to boom. So bust industries, travel and tourism. Oh my God. They're all going to suck. People are not going to travel in fear, right? Little bit of travel will happen, but not a lot. And there is so much restrictions now on travel. Who's going to go through unless it's an emergency, people won't travel. Tourism, again, it's not going to, for the next 1 year, everybody's going to struggle in the tourism industry. So if you can shift gears from there, we'll talk about the booming industries. Physical retail, again, malls and theaters and restaurants. And physical retail is going to really suffer, right? Because again, wherever there's people getting together, it's a strict no-no. People are scared. You don't want to be around there. Automotive industry, if you don't go anywhere leaving your home, why would you buy cars? And Uber and Ola will also suffer, right? Luxury industry, again, if you have no one to show off to, again, the luxury industry might not suffer that much, but it will suffer a little bit for sure, right? Real estate, great time to invest in real estate. It's actually a good bust. That means good time to buy. Oil and gas prices, again, you're not a shake, so you don't have to worry about that. Construction, traditional businesses related to construction will suffer quite a bit because government is giving 20 lakh crores. So you can only imagine that that's 10% of the GDP that they're already investing out throughout the economy. So they won't have a lot of money for construction and infrastructure for the next, I don't know how many years. So that's going to take a hit. Live events like cricket match, concerts, again, these are also going to take a hit, right? That doesn't mean they won't happen. They're just going to pivot to digital, and already massive events are going digital and people are paying for it. The boom industry. Anything to do with chemicals is going to be a boom because FMCG and pharma is going to go rock. Now, FMCG, I say not just soaps and stuff like that, but also food, also like a lot of chemical goes into a lot of things today. So chemical industry will boom and FMCG and pharma is going to go with that. Healthcare, obviously, it's going to be a need. More investment will come into healthcare because people are realizing COVID-19 is probably not the only time. We're probably, in our lifetimes, we're probably going to go through a lot of these COVID-19s and it's going to get difficult more and more. It's going to get more sophisticated. If what I'm hearing is right, this was a biological weapon and that was leaked, right? That went out in public. And if as technology enhances and people are going to come up with worse biological weapons and worse things are going to come. So a lot of investment will go into healthcare for sure. People are staying at home, so digital entertainment is going to be key. More and more of these Netflix-like things, more and more TikTok-like things. So TikTok is not just, losers dancing around. I'm not calling them losers, I'm sorry, I take that back. Not jobless people dancing around. It's now a lot of, entrepreneurs, lawyers even giving like 1 minute, 15-second hints on what to do and getting customers from TikTok. TikTok advertising is booming massively. All celebrities are on TikTok. So digital entertainment is going to grow. More social media, more time wasters will come. Of course, time wasters for those who consume. Those who create are not time wasters. For them, it's money-making opportunity. Online delivery is going to boom. Grocery, medicines, already it's booming. But of course, right now, due to lockdown, there's a lot of restrictions. But worry not, people are getting more used to, right, online deliveries. So they prefer online versus visiting a grocery or visiting a medical store, pharmacy, etc. So, and Dunzo-like companies that just do deliveries on, or what is that thing called, bookmychotu.com, So all these companies that do deliveries are going to really, really pick up speed post-lockdown because that's what the market is. Now, digital products. So PDFs, ebooks, courses, webinars, right? These are going to grow and you'll be amazed. There's a new economy popping as a result of resellers. Affiliate marketers were already there, but even resellers are coming out. So for example, let's just talk about webinars, right? There are people who are just taking others' webinars and selling it and making 20, 30, 50% commission. They don't have to do anything. They're just selling it to their network, their WhatsApp groups, digital marketing it, the hell out of it, and making money out of it. So a whole economy is coming out of digital products, right? So it's literally air, and anybody of you can be making money sitting at home. Gig economy. If you have any skills or talents, it's amazing. You can go on freelancing websites and make money there. So let's say your startup is so badly hit, you have to pause it. Fine, pause it. But you've learned so much from your startup, right? You've learned law, you've learned people management, project management, product development, somewhat tech, maybe financial projections. All of these things can be made into things that you can sell, digital products that you can sell, right? Stock market, you can make slides for people, that's a big industry. Just making pitch decks for other people. People pay you 20,000, 30,000 rupees for just 20 slide or 30 slide pitch deck, right? We pay. So if you have this design skills, you should contact us. A lot of our investor ready startups ask for pitch decks, and we have people designing it for us. Kolkata Ventures. So stock market investing, huge. If you know daily trading, if you go on Udemy tonight, they actually have a 50% discount on courses on stock trading and things like that. So you can learn, and for 300 rupees, you can learn how to do stock trading and make money every day. I'm not suggesting anything, no financial advice here. Please don't sue me. All I'm saying is, because of the volatility, if you know what you're doing, people are making money. A lot of my followers who are doing stock trading keep sending me screenshots. Sir, why are you not doing it? I don't know it. It's just not my psyche, but those who know it should definitely do it. It's seems like people are making money. Again, not giving financial advice. Mental health, a lot of depression is going to happen. People are, just like China, 300% increase in divorce rates. India is also coming to that point. People are frustrated. Fights are happening. So if you know anybody with psychological help or anything to do with mental health, meditation, yoga, all of that will boom. Insurance, people are scared. People are investing in insurance in case something happens to them, right? So once Corona has happened, now everybody's going to be scared, because in case another Corona hits, right, which probably will very soon, it's not over. So health insurance is very important. So insurance companies are going to boom, not just health insurance, life insurance, all kinds of insurance will be booming. Gaming, again, people will have extra time, so they will want to entertain themselves. Data science, oh my God, so much data has been created, because as with the digital products and digital selling, and Facebook is booming right now, right? Why is Facebook investing in Reliance? Why is Reliance going digital? Reliance is used to building bridges and petroleum and all of that. But with Geo and Ambani is just going all out with digital, because they know that is the future. That is where things are. And already Reliance has taken 5 billion plus, I think, $500 million, and another one of $1.5 billion. So almost like $7-8 billion they have raised just for that digital structure. WhatsApp is coming with WhatsApp Pay, which is going to be huge. So it's like WeChat. China did that with WeChat, right? In WeChat, you can date, you can pay for your petrol, you can book a cab, you can pay your friends, you can book food for restaurants. WeChat, you can do anything. So WhatsApp is going in that direction, so which is powerful, right? So data science, astrology. People are scared, and people are spending on astrology. Spend on astrology has gone up like anything. So if you're doing anything with occult sciences, tarot, astrology, man, people are doing webinars on those are going nuts. They are like literally just off the roof. People are paying any amount of money to know what's their future of their business. So again, if you couldn't capture a lot of that, what I said, and I went too fast, here is the gist. Growth of digital, death of physical. That doesn't mean if you have a physical product, you're going to die. Like Dr. Narayanan is here, his physical product is going to boom because healthcare is going to boom. People are going to be more aware, and more investment is going to come into healthcare sector. It's not just over with COVID-19. Cancer is a big problem, always been there. Diabetes is a big killer. Heart attacks is the biggest killer in America and other places. So healthcare is going to do very well. People are aware now, oh my God, I have to invest in health. Governments are aware they have to invest in health. Investors are also going to go with the flow because policies will change. And so a lot of money will flow into healthcare. Just to give you an example, 2 years ago, I had predicted this. So when Prime Minister Oli Sharma, the Prime Minister of Nepal, he got elected, Modi ji had sent a few of us entrepreneurs here to meet with him and to guide him with startups. And we maintained a relationship with him till demonetization happened to guide him through the building of the ecosystem in Nepal. And his thing was, we are poor, we have we have no roads, no infrastructure. So all of us, so most of us are digital. So Ritesh obviously is phygital with Oyo. Some Ritesh is digital with Oyo, digital plus physical. Yatin is a co-working space, mostly physical. So Entrepreneur Magazine, Ritu, she's completely digital and 200 crores. That's how much she makes, right? Amazing. No investment whatsoever. Then our friend here, Kaushik, right behind me, the guy you see, is another Bengali entrepreneur. He just reached 100 crores. There's a cosmetics company called Sugar. So all of these people, everybody was saying the same thing, that Mr. Prime Minister, go digital. Your engineers are no different from the engineers in Silicon Valley. So whatever can be done in the cloud is not dependent on whether it's Nepal or Silicon Valley. So go out, all out with that. And we help create the economy, the startup economy in Nepal. And now there are so many copycats of Uber and Ola and Zomato and all of that, and Paytm. And they're doing extremely well. Millions and millions of dollars they're making. And the whole economy has been set up because of the startups, digital startups that their Prime Minister, pushed forward with our help, with India's help. Some case studies I would love to share with you that have of successful startups that have transformed during lockdown to boost the revenue. So one of my friends, I was talking to him, and it's like he owns a 5,000 seater co-working space, multiple spaces in Indore and Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh. And I said, Sawan, what's going on? What you going to do with the economy? Everything work from home. People are going to work from home more. He said, oh, I've already reinvented my business. I'm no more a co-working space business. I'm a work from home business. I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, we have already shipping work from home kits. What does that mean? He's like foldable tables, foldable chairs, laptops, dongle for internet. We are shipping all of that to people's houses. We're collaborating with employers, big corporates, and they're like, instead of shipping, uprooting the desktops and shipping them the desktops, they're just renting it from us, and we are shipping them chair, table, internet, laptop, done. Your whole work from home system is. So from co-working space being a very, physical business, he has just made it into a more of a digital business where he is shipping the whole co-working space to your house, right? So these are the ways that one has to think. So one of the investors, one of our invested startups, One Big Family in Hyderabad, literally the revenues have grown like quadrupled. Why? Because we were taking care of senior citizens and people were not so much warmed up to the idea. But then in this, lockdown, senior citizens are in great trouble. And we were targeting NRIs, right? NRIs are like, oh my God, my parents don't have groceries. They don't have any ways of doing anything. So our this startup, OBF, grew massively because suddenly all our marketing efforts started showing results, and people are like, please help us. All the newspapers started showing pictures of us. All of our, like the effort was completely coming into the right time at the right place. So that's the thing. You have to ride the wave. Just because you were doing something before COVID-19 and you were successful doesn't mean that you'll be successful today. So you have to change your business model, to look at your business model differently, and figure out how you're going to innovate and succeed. So sorry, Nitesh, I'm a little late for you, but I'll try to complete as soon as possible. So save, invest, execute. How much to save, invest, and execute? Very important to understand. A lot of you want to hold on to your cash. Now, if you hold on to all your cash, you will not be executing your business and you will die. So you have to hold on to some of your key employees. You have to pay them 25%, 50% salary, right? You have to invest in your business. So that means investing in things that will help you innovate right now, right? How are you going to align with the demands of COVID-19? How are you going to get customers? How are you going to shift your target audience, your market, etc., right? And execute. Even if it is 20% execution, you have to execute. You have to thrive. You have to survive through this, if not thrive. So re-engineering your business model and value proposition, it will start with, first of all, you might have to change your customer segment. You were probably going for, where there's a pyramid, you were going for the bottom tier customers who haggle about price. They are out of jobs. They don't have money. They're scared. They're going to hold on to their money. So you have to go for a little higher. People who are entrepreneurs or who have jobs in big companies like Amazon or Google or Microsoft, what would people above 1.5 lakhs a month who make salary? What are their needs? Target them. So customer segment, if you target them, they're working from home, they are going to spend money, right? There is a need for that. Value proposition. What value proposition was there before COVID-19 will have to shift today based on the demands of COVID-19 and the demands of what people are going to want in the future. Your channels are going to change. If you were a retailer, or physical channels won't work. You have to go digital. If you don't have something, WordPress plus Shopify, and you will have something. Nitesh actually has a whole business about creating digital spaces for e-commerce platforms. He has a whole backend. So you have to figure out how you're going to, your channels will have to change, your distribution channels, right? Your customer relationship will have to be automated. You cannot deal with all of that. Chatbots and things like that have to be brought into place. Revenue streams, you have to have multiple revenue streams, but how? You have to figure it out, right? So your business model, that's re-engineering a business model, but aligning with the demands during COVID-19 for a high-paying customer base, a customer base that is not affected as much by COVID-19. Not the job losers, but people who still have jobs, working from home, making salaries, right? Key resources are going to stay the same. Key activities are probably going to stay the same or similar. Right now, key partners, for example, very beautiful example of partnership, right? Big Basket was not able to get people to deliver groceries. What did they do? They tried partnering up with Zomato delivery guys. Like the Big Basket, Zomato, partnered up, and they're able to do a little bit more. Uber Eats in other countries is connecting with Uber drivers, and so partnerships. You have to find who are the big players who are needing the small help that they don't have. And as a startup, if you can provide that small help, you can make money from those big businesses. You don't even have to worry about recession and economy. You will have B2B clients helping you. So you have to really think hard how you're going to innovate, your business model. Cost structure, reduce as much fat as possible. Don't pay for office. Don't pay for extremely high expense things. Like if you're spending $1 lakh on servers, try to see how you're going to cut it down, right? Ask Kolkata Ventures. If you're using AWS, startups that are incubated by us get up to $35,000 worth of AWS credits. That's a lot of money saved, right? We give up to 1 lakh per month off on Paytm gateway fees. The 2% that Paytm charges adds up over time. We give you 1 lakh off from every transaction. So take advantage of Kolkata Ventures or whatever else you could garner to reduce your costs. That's your business model re-engineering. Now I'm going to shift over to my dear friend and brother, Nitesh, to talk about unconventional ways of lead extraction. So now that you have innovated your business model, right, you have to figure out, you want to go for the larger customers, but how do you get those customers? You don't have a lot of money for Facebook ads. What do you do? So Nitesh is a celebrated entrepreneur from Uttarakhand in Dehradun. He started this company called Dealzo that he got felicitated by Modi ji twice, met the Prime Minister 2 times, and recently his startup also got acquired for multi-crores. So very proud incubator of Kolkata Ventures, Nitesh. So Nitesh, I was talking a few days ago about lead generation, how he's doing it for some of his digital products. He is innovative. He's come up with some digital products, legal products for startups, and he's minting money. So I said, how are you doing it? Is it through digital marketing? He said, no, I have some very cool ways of gathering leads. So I'm going to ask Nitesh, please educate us, share your wisdom, how our startups can also innovatively generate leads with spending least amount of money.
Thank you very much, sir. Hope I'm audible. Hello.
Yes.
Good evening to all. I hope everyone is safe. So, as I was telling, the unconventional ways of lead. So, because the COVID-19 situation occurred, so I was having a law firm, or I'm having a law firm. So my physical business got stuck. So I was not finding the way like how to transform the physical business into a digital business. Then what happened? Ki I was having multiple templates of agreements, multiple templates of contracts, business plans, notices. So I combine them into one and make a product which is known as a smart startup box. I'll tell you just a second. Is my screen getting shared?
No.
Okay. Actually, it is saying host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Okay, let me see if I can. Um, Honestly, I don't know how to.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Oops. No. Yeah. Sorry, Nitish. Can't make it happen.
Okay, no problem, sir. So some of the ways which I found to generate the leads was, so as I was not very interested in investing money in Facebook ads or Instagram ads because I was not sure whether the money will give me an ROI or not. So what I did, firstly, I went to a Startup India website. So in the Startup India website, every startup was registered of every sector, whether it's an agriculture sector, whether it's in IT sector, or whether it's an automotive sector. There I got the list of all the startups because my product was legal product. It is being used by the startups who require legal templates like business plan templates, agreements, contracts. So I go through the all the industry, I make a list, noted down their number and ask my sales team to directly call them. And trust me, the conversion rate was above 20%. Through Facebook leads, the average conversion rate is around 3 to 4% or maximum 6 to 7%. But directly calling to the potential customers, the conversion rate was more than 20%. I was very much impressed. Then the other way which I found out was like I'm a very firm follower of Avelo sir, and many of sir's followers on Instagram are the business people. So my team find out a method of scrapping the database. In scrapping of the database, I got the list of the whole followers of the Avelo sir, including their email IDs, including their phone numbers. Because the customer was the potential customer, it was very helpful for me to directly call to the customer, telling about my product, what is my product, because he's a businessman to whom I am talking. He understood my product, and eventually the sales happened. So scrapping of the database, Startup India website, even I was added in multiple WhatsApp group. So when we sell any of the product or we promote
Nitesh,
any of,
I'll just pause you for a second. Can you explain what does scraping of the database mean for those of
okay,
who are not tech savvy?
ओके सो बेसिकली स्क्रैपिंग ऑफ द डेटाबेस का मतलब ये होता है कि जैसे हमारे इंस्टाग्राम में कोई भी फॉलोअर्स हैं तो हम उनको इंस्टाग्राम पे ही फॉलो कर पाते हैं बट हमें ये नहीं पता होता कि इनका फोन नंबर क्या है, ईमेल आईडी क्या है. हमें ये पता होता है कि ठीक है ये बंदा जो है XYZ ये एक बिजनेसमैन है, ही इज अ स्टार्टअप ओनर. सो हम क्या करते हैं कि हम सॉफ्टवेयर के थ्रू डेटाबेस स्क्रैप करते हैं. डेटाबेस स्क्रैपिंग में क्या होता है कि पोटेंशियल इन्फॉर्मेशन उस यूजर की हम एक्सट्रैक्ट कर लेते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जब उस यूजर ने अकाउंट बनाया होगा तो उसने अपना फोन नंबर भी एंटर किया होगा, उसने अपनी ईमेल आईडी भी एंटर की होगी, उसने अपना नेम भी एंटर किया होगा. थ्रू द सॉफ्टवेयर एंड थ्रू द एल्गोरिथम्स हम वो डेटा एक्सट्रैक्ट कर लेते हैं. तो हमारे पास उस पोटेंशियल कस्टमर का डेटा आ जाता है. हम डायरेक्टली उस पोटेंशियल कस्टमर को कॉल करके अपना प्रोडक्ट बता देते हैं. बिकॉज ही हिमसेल्फ इज अ स्टार्टअप फाउंडर, ही हिमसेल्फ इज अ बिजनेसमैन, तो सेल्स के कन्वर्ट होने के चांसेस ज्यादा होते हैं. एज कम्पेयर टू फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम एड्स पे क्या होता है कि अगर हमने फेसबुक पे कोई एड लगाया, इट इज अ लीड जनरेशन एड, तो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि दूसरे सेगमेंट्स के और दूसरे सेक्टर के यूजर्स भी आपकी एड पे क्लिक कर देते हैं और आप उनको कॉल करते हो तो आपका टाइम भी वेस्ट होता है और आपकी लीड की कॉस्ट भी वेस्ट होती है. इससे बेटर है कि हम डायरेक्टली पोटेंशियल कस्टमर्स पे टारगेट करें. So this is how I target to my potential customers. And the third way is like mostly I was added in multiple WhatsApp group जिसमें बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स थे, बहुत सारे बिजनेस पीपल थे. तो मैंने सबसे पहले उनको टारगेट किया. मैंने कहा सर दिस इज माय प्रोडक्ट, आई मेड अ स्मार्ट स्टार्टअप बॉक्स. In this we are providing 500 plus templates of legal documentation which is very useful for you because as it is a COVID-19 situation, so you must not be going to your lawyer or you must not be going to your chartered accountant for your legal work. And for example, if we go to any of the court or if we go to anywhere, a normal agreement costs us 500 rupees. I club them, make a package of around 5,000 rupees and start selling to the startup founders. So it was very helpful for them. Okay, we are getting 500 plus templates in just 5,000 rupees and that too for the lifetime. So this is how my product starts selling. So in the COVID-19 situation, for example, if you are doing any of the startup, try to convert that startup into a digital startup in which there is no logistic required. Because if there is no logistic required, you can directly take the payment and you can deliver the product to the customer and there will be a no liability upon you. So you can generate a good profit margin also. Then if you are added into multiple startup group, for example, if someone is into the IT business of making the website and he is added into three startup group, so try to contact all the people of the startup group. Around 10% of the people might convert, and those are your potential buyers. That's why they are added into the startup group. So this is how you can make money during the COVID-19 situation. For example, some of you are in the agriculture sector, some of you are in the automotive sector, and you are not able to find out your potential buyers, or you are into the B2B sector. So you directly go to the Startup India website. There you can find the list of all the startups. You can filter out the sector in which you are working. You're getting all the list of the startup. You can directly contact them. This is how also you can make your sales. This is the unconventional legal ways for the lead generation, in which you have to invest minimal amount of rupees. In Startup India group, there is no money required. In WhatsApp group, there is no money required. Even in scrapping of the database is very cheap. The scrapping of the database hardly cost 1 rupees per database. So if you want 100 database of a potential customer, it will hardly cost 1 rupees per database. So some of them are the unconventional ways for the database mining or the database extraction.
Thank you, Nitesh. I'm just going to see if people have any questions for you.
Definitely, sir.
Stop sharing the screen. Okay, any questions for Nitesh? Please feel free to type.
Okay, so Mr. Shashikant, you have a question. Can we have some example how to use COVID-19 for training-based industry for school and colleges? So see, what happening is in school and colleges, the biggest problem is for the classes, how the schools will conduct the classes. So you can train them through a software, or you can propose them a software that this will be a. Right now what happening is ki teachers are having so much of problem in teaching the students. For example, in a class there is 70 students. So what teachers are doing, teachers are just sending the work manually over the WhatsApp and collecting the work over the WhatsApp. So you can propose them a software where you can ask the school that we will provide you the software, and through the software you can teach the students. This is how you can go for the training in the schools and colleges. Can you suggest any tool for database scrapping, Ima? So database scrapping is done by CMD, command prompt. So if you are very swave in command prompt, you can do your database scrapping yourself, or otherwise you can contact me. I can connect you with the person who does the database scrapping. He can do the database scrapping. Manish, can you tell the software name? So basically the software, it is not a software, it is a command prompt. So it is done by the coding. So in Windows or in Mac, you can open the command prompt, and if you are very good in coding, you can do it yourself. Otherwise, if you are not able to do it, you can directly contact me. I can connect you with the person who can do the database scrapping. Any other question?
Nitish, if they have to contact you, what's your preferred way of contacting?
Definitely. If you want to contact me, you can directly text me over WhatsApp. You can note my number 904516334. I'm again repeating 904516334. Please feel free to contact me anytime. I'm there to help you for the COVID-19 situation. Any other question?
Thank you, Nitish. So if you have questions, they'll keep coming in while
Definitely, sir.
we'll move on
Definitely, sir.
to the next slides. Okay. Maybe I should give a 5-minute bathroom break since everybody's been here for a while. So I'll just pause for now. We'll stop for 5 minutes and then we'll. So right now it's 9:34, 9:40. We will resume. Hope everybody is back. We are starting again. Okay, thank you, Nitesh, again for your wonderful insights into unconventional ways of lead generation. So I'll talk about a few conventional ways of lead generation also. Referrals are the biggest ways to generate leads. So if you have happy customers, that's the cheapest marketing. Your customers go refer, and especially now during COVID-19. So I'll give another example that boomed. So one of my friends, he's manufacturing masks, but everybody's manufacturing masks, whoever has a manufacturing unit of anything cloth related. So this fellow was doing something unique. He said, I'm manufacturing mask with custom logo on it. So if you have a brand and you have 100 employees, 200 employees, we're going to put your logo on your mask. And they did that. And again, literally the government of Kerala gave some 2,000 mask order. Somebody else gave 200 mask order. Somebody else gave 20,000 mask order. So he's like just making money from masks, literally probably about to reach crore. Literally started like a few weeks back and already about to reach a crore in revenue, right? And people are already referring others. Like, hey, if you need custom branded masks, here is a guy to talk to who's able to deliver. So referrals are great. Email marketing also works. This is not me saying, it's coming from proper data. You can see the bottom for reference. Live sales, of course, now won't happen. Direct marketing, white paper downloads. So, webinars, podcasts. A lot of people do free webinars and free podcasts. I don't do podcasts, but I don't do free webinars unless it's exclusively for Kolkata Ventures Incubates. We don't do free webinar. The reason why we don't do it is because people who come for free are not serious. So even if you pay a little bit, just a little bit, it shows your seriousness. So whatever 500 rupees all of you guys have paid, it's a very small token that we charge 3,000 rupees for our real events, physical events, right? So 500 rupees is nothing. But it shows that you're serious, you're going to come on time, you're going to learn, you're going to take notes because you're going to value it. And a lot of people convert from webinars to taking incubation or resources of startups and whatnot. So these are great ways of lead generation processes. One thing I've learned is don't do anything free, because if you do it free, people won't value you. Free people don't convert to paid. If you have little less paid, converts to more paid, but free doesn't generally convert to paid. Like Jio, for example. Of course, Jio could afford to do a test of free for the whole country, and they can afford it. Not all startups can afford that. They're not a startup, of course. But in their case also, when they started charging for their data, they lost a massive, significant portion of their customers, right? So that's very important to note, that free people don't convert. If you can pay a little bit, you can convert to a lot more. So that's important in your lead generation process. Hot leads to customers. So how to get people, that means you target people who have a need and who can afford to pay. So start with awareness, you become friendly, that means trust is built. So you can actually do this through Facebook marketing. So for example, a lot of people watch my videos on startups, right? So I can actually tell Facebook, people who have watched 25% or more of my videos, target them for my webinars or for my uh, 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 incubation for Kolkata Ventures. And because they're aware that I exist, they have trust in me, they're more likely to convert. It's amazing. And it's all Facebook AI working. And even better is lookalike audience. So Facebook creates leads for you from lookalike audience. That means, okay, if this category of people like Kolkata Ventures, then similar category of people from our other places will also like Kolkata Ventures. So like that, we keep feeding them with content, and then people who have engaged with the content, watched the content, are shown our advertisements. And those people are more likely to take actions than somebody seeing an ad for the first time, right? So that's how it goes from like, okay, 7 impressions on the mind, and you remember the name, you remember the tagline, you remember the colors, right? Then you become a prospect. Yes, I'm interested. And then what happens? Somebody comes and almost about to pay, and they're like, nah, I'm not going to pay. So we have a way of capturing that lead also. So the trick is, first you take their name and email address, and then show them the credit card information. So if they don't put in the credit card information and they just leave at the checking cart, right, checkout cart, then what you do is this is called I forget the technical word for it, but basically you have information that they came to almost, becoming a customer, but they didn't. So you can remarket to them. You can email them, you can WhatsApp them, you can call them, like Nitesh was saying, he has telecallers, right? So you can remarket to them, so that what is it that's not making them, giving them a little discount or pushing them a little harder, showing them the benefits, so that they get that extra push to convert to customers. That's the sales funnel. That's what it looks like. Again, sales funnel, all coming in through different channels: email campaign, organic SEO traffic, Google paid campaigns, trade shows, now no trade shows, but Facebook, all of that slowly get converted into your sales. So people don't take decision all at once. Wow, you have such a great product, let me buy it right away. You repeat, you push, and eventually they do it. And the best part is you can automate it. You can automate the whole process. Once you've figured out who is my target audience, if you have a base of customers, you can actually upload the email list to Facebook, and Facebook can understand, they are the people who are your customers. So similar lookalike audience, Facebook can target and get you similar people who are more likely to become your customers. Now that you know who converts, male or female, young or middle-aged, or senior citizens, or people of high net worth, low net worth, mid net worth, right? Entrepreneurs versus employees, urban versus rural, English speaking versus different vernacular language. Once you know who's reacting to your ad, who is your already customer, and you upload that to Facebook, Facebook knows, and it's an automated process, and then you attract, you convert, you close, and you get the report, you understand more who's converting, and you become more and more targeted. That's how Salesforce works. That's how MailChimp works. That's how Zoho CRM, HubSpot, Google Analytics also works. All of they talk to each other. There's a lot of integration that happen between. It's very easy to do. Without a single line of coding, you can integrate all of them, so that your Salesforce is talking to a MailChimp that, hey, this person was about to buy but didn't buy. MailChimp is like, let me send an email right away to them with a 10% discount coupon. And then HubSpot is saying, okay, let's, a month ago they were interested, let's approach them right now. So when you create this whole automation process, again, if you need help, Kolkata Ventures is here to help you with automation of workflow. So you basically set up a system, and you keep monitoring the reports, who is your customer, and you keep telling Facebook, this is the customer you should go for, and tell Google, and all the artificial intelligence kicks in with their big data, and they're able to churn through and get more focused on getting you the right customers for converting to become your clients for your digital products, or even physical e-commerce platforms and whatnot. I can go far more details. I can just talk about this for 6 hours straight, but I won't. But I wanted you to have some idea. You can Google it. You can go on blogs and find out more about how to automate the workflow, lead generation process but it does cost some money. Facebook charges you, Google charges you. Some of these tools might also be free initially, but eventually when you grow, they will charge you. It's worth paying for it. But if you don't have the money, that's why I wanted Nitesh to talk the Jugaad mindset, the Jugaad way of getting the customers, right? So that's very, very important. One thing as an entrepreneur, you should know that you should have multiple sources of revenue. I'm talking about you as a person. I'm not talking about your business. Your business should definitely have multiple revenue streams, which might or might not be possible at the initial stage. But you as a human being should have multiple sources of revenue. Now, how do you do that? The one is definitely your startup, if it is generating revenue, that's one. Two, you should invest always. If every month, if you can invest 5,000 rupees a month, you should invest, whether it's stocks, bonds, gold, silver, whatever else you can do. You'll be amazed how much this helps you. This recurring investment helps you. If you can get a real estate property, like a flat, you can get a loan to get a flat, or a car also. Put the car on Uber, put the house on Airbnb or rent it out, right? And have some rental revenue coming in. Or any of these things don't work, read up online. Let's say you know nothing about, let's say a subject, COVID-19. Let's say, what is the industry report? There's so many industry reports that are floating around. Take it, create a PDF, put it out for as low as 100 rupees. Put it on marketplaces. There are so many marketplaces, including Instamojo and other places. Just put it out there and let affiliate marketers, resellers make 50%, 20%, 30% from that. They will sell on its own and you will generate revenue, right? Affiliate marketing can be $1 million business, can be a multi-million-dollar business. So again, a lot of information available on YouTube and whatnot. But the point is, you should learn to have multiple sources of revenue, because if something goes down, something else is there. Consulting is another opportunity, right? You learn so much from doing your startup that you can take those knowledge and turn that into consulting business. You can get money for your intelligence, for your knowledge. People will pay you for it, right? But you need to know how to market and brand yourself very well. So lot of ways you can have multiple sources of revenue, but it's absolutely important that you do that. Now, for the next section, I'm going to have somebody else come in, my co-founder, Neeraj. He'll be here at 10 o'clock. But between now and 10, we have 10 minutes, and I want to see if you guys have any questions that you want to ask. Subhash Narayan, can you please tell how dentistry-related healthcare products sales would be affected in the COVID-19 situation? Let me think for a second. We have a dentistry expert here actually between us. Turin, I'm unmuting you. Would you like to answer the question? And then I'll add on top of what you say. Since you've done enough market research on dentistry. So Turin is basically from IIT Kharagpur. He's a PhD student, and he has come up with a phenomenal dentistry product, won many competitions. And Turin has done the market research, already has live customers. So Turin, if you can unmute your mic and just talk a little bit about the needs and the demand during COVID-19.
So basically, in dentistry, the live patients now, it's totally stopped by the dentist. But eventually, in dentistry field, you cannot fully teleconsult sitting at home to the patients. So some of the products which I am also thinking to align is like teleconsultation based dentistry based on augmented reality. So like a doctor can use an augmented AR VR based device, and they will sit in a platform, both will come in a platform, and the doctor can eventually see the teeth condition and can consult. So this is one aspect. Secondly, there are few more like some of the products in dentistry, like the minimum materials which are needed in dentistry, we can go into that. Those are not very difficult to manufacture. It might need a bit of investment, but those materials are basically imported from China and other countries. Now there is a like a dentist to whom I am talking. They are also not allowing. They are also fearing whether to use that product or not. So that can be a very good aspect to work with. So I have these two options.
Thank you, Tiran. That was very educational, and yes, that is a very true concern. So, Mr. Dr. Subhash Narayan, since you're in the manufacturing business of dentistry, well, I don't know if it is dentist-related product, but I hope that answers it. But again, what Tiran said is tele augmented reality and all of that put together might be there, but still physical contact might be necessary for dentistry to be able to offer. Uh, Again, I'm not an expert, Turin is, so that's why I had him speak on this. Manish Kumar, Avelo sir, I'm really happy and excited to listen to you. I'm very happy, Manishji, that you're here. Very happy to hear from you. Arfaq, can you please share how the current global situation will bring changes to international multi-country trade business? So the good part is for digital products, international market just opened up. You can be sitting here and selling in Dubai and wherever else, Singapore and Australia, New Zealand, Africa, wherever you want. Physically speaking, unless it is absolutely necessary items, you will be struggling. There will be till at least 1 year. The prediction is that till at least 1 year, there's going to be struggles. I know you're dealing with gold from I don't know where, Sri Lanka, I think. So I'm not so sure that will open up too soon. Having said that, if you can figure out a digital way of whether trading gold or acquiring gold, and you don't do the logistical part, but you do the digital part, and you outsource that logistics to somebody else, you could potentially do very well. Because again, like I said, digital, you want to thrive, that's the way to go. Any contact, anything physical is difficult. It's going to be difficult for a extended period of time. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my slide. So our next speaker, Neeraj Krishna, he will be speaking on quick five survival quick cash side hustles. Because again, just like you heard at the beginning, my story about OMG biscuits, for some of you, this might be necessary to survive, right? Where your side hustle might help you kind of survive through the COVID-19 lockdown period, or even extended beyond that, so that thereafter you can again go back to your startup. Or you might be able to align your side hustle with your current business. So for example, with Kolkata Ventures, we never used to do webinars, we never used to do courses, we never used to do digital products, but we are doing it because what better way to utilize it? And we are again going global. We are really putting in the infrastructure to make sure we can take digital, foreign currency and whatnot. And there are other opportunities also popping up as we go through. So very, very important that you also understand how you can do some new innovations in your business and take it forward. I just want to see if Silvano, do me a favor, just make sure Neeraj is able to get in without any problems. Okay. So I'm going to wait for Neeraj. Again, if you have questions, this is the time to ask. So the reason why I asked Neeraj to talk about this is actually because during his college days at IIT Kharagpur, I'll give an introduction while Neeraj is joining us. I'll give a little introduction. Neeraj Krishna, he's my co-founder. We started Kolkata Ventures together in 2016. And Neeraj was a fresh graduate from IIT Kharagpur at the time, BTech, MTech, brilliant guy, multiple patents to his name, gold medalist, MBA from ISB Hyderabad, very brilliant person. So Neeraj and I, we were discussing one time, and he said, in college, one time I was very excited to make money, and that was my introduction to entrepreneurship. I started doing gigs on Fiverr, and on Fiverr, I would not do anything myself, but bring in projects, whether it's graphic design or content writing or whatever. Find some of my friends who are very good at that, pay them very little amount of money, charge a lot of money on Fiverr, and make money through through commission. And so Neeraj was like able to make some 20,000 rupees in a matter of 8 days. And then one of his mentors told him, focus on your studies and, don't waste time doing this. And so Neeraj was like, okay, he went back to that. But that was the introduction to entrepreneurship. And eventually Neeraj started his own company doing IT services for US clients. And that's how Neeraj and I met, actually. I was sending him US projects, and he was a bright guy who knew how to communicate. And I'm like, why don't you join? Let's start Kolkata Ventures together. And Neeraj and I started Kolkata Ventures, a few years ago. I heard somebody came in.
Hello, am I audible?
You are audible. Can you also be visible?
Yeah, I'm able to hear. Great.
You can turn on your video, that'd be great.
Yes, I'm just doing that. Hello, everyone. I hope my video is clearly visible.
Yeah, you're audible and visible.
Okay, perfect. I hope I'm just in time to talk about quick ways of making money, especially when you're financially crunched, something that you would typically go through when running your business, right? I think like Avelo sir was mentioning how I kind of used my free time in my college to make 20K in like 8 to 10 days. And in fact, that initial cash buffer was very useful in terms of starting my first business as well, which I started when I was in my fourth year in undergrad, where we actually had to spend a bit initially in terms of pitching to clients. There were transportation costs. There were costs, investments in terms of software licenses that we had to take in. And the initial cash buffer was something that was very useful. So one thing that I've seen repeatedly in terms of, not only in terms of my own experience, but also in terms of helping other startups, my key forte has been repeatedly taking startups from zero to revenue across our incubation programs at Kolkata Ventures. That is something that I've repeatedly successfully done. And one of the key things that I've seen across the board in terms of how startups successfully go through this phase is to figure a way out to actually generate cash during this initial period without much investment. And one of the key aspects here in terms of doing this is to take one step back and really try to go deep, drill down, and try to understand, for example, say if you, for example, I can give you a few examples from our experiences that we have had at Kolkata Ventures. One of the good startups, interesting startups, in fact, that we had helped was Alberton Automobili. They built supercars for HNIs, right? So they had a incubation period of close to 5 years, where they were making very minimal, revenue from their actually car making business, right? So during this period, the ways they survived was by actually doing AutoCAD designs for companies, right? Because they understood that as part of their research, one of the skills that they had honed was the ability to develop really good, AutoCAD designs very quickly, which could then be shipped out for manufacturing, right? So this is something that they used as a skill to actually generate revenue. Similarly, we have had other startups who have used, other startup founders who have used their design skills. They were great designers, so they used their design skills for, creating logos or other kinds of, design services, either through freelancing websites or through social media, marketing their services in order to generate revenue. Similarly, things like website development, right? So basically, how you would go about thinking something like this is to try to understand that if I am, say, working on a business right now, which is into say, selling a particular kind of product, what are the skills that I've actually developed till now in terms of running this business, right? Break down what you're doing in terms of skills, right? And clearly try to understand, is there a scope of focusing on one of these skills for which there could be a separate market in itself, rather than the product or service as a whole. So there are two things that you can do with doing that. One thing is, there could be a lot of aspects that you're currently, say, outsourcing for your own business. It could be your tech, your websites, it could be your marketing or something else. So if there are aspects that you're currently outsourcing, uh, those are skills that you can take out time and pick up and do it yourself. So that is one way to save cash, which is as good as earning during this time. The second thing, which we are focusing more on, is in terms of trying to understand what are the things that you are already doing as part of your business. You and your team are already doing as part of your business. How you bifurcate that into individual skills, right? And see if you can market those individual skills separately. In terms of marketing those skills separately, there are two things that you can do. Firstly, trying to sell them through, these kinds of freelancer platforms, say like Fiverr, like I did. I used Fiverr when I was in college, and it's still quite popular. There are other freelancer platforms like Upwork, and other places which are for more larger, chunkier, pieces of work. Fiverr is more for artistic kind of work in terms of design or video editing or things like that, right? So there are these kind of freelancer platforms which you can leverage, and there are also social media platforms that you can use, like you can market yourself through Facebook, right? So this is one way in terms of marketing your skills and services. The second way is to actually offer your skill as something that you can teach, right? One of the challenges that you may face in terms of selling your services right now is that since due to the current scenario in terms of the market, everybody's risk averse, and people are a little skeptical in terms of investing their money into anything, since they are not sure if they'll get a return. But one thing people are definitely investing their money in is in terms of learning, right? So a lot of people are looking for things to learn and learning opportunities, and the education, especially the edtech market, is in an absolute boom right now, right? So even if you have certain skills that you feel that you can impart to others, there are many online platforms which can provide you a platform to impart those skills, right? Apart from it could be either like mass platforms where you can create courses, float courses online, or conduct online courses through video platforms, or you can even do one-on-one individual tutoring, right? Especially if you're able to find an audience which is willing to pay significant money, it could be more time effective and cost effective for you to do one-on-one tutoring as well, right? So that is something that is absolutely doable in terms of generating cash, right? Apart from that, one of the things that I've seen in terms of doing this is a lot of startup founders, by doing this, actually identify ways how they can pivot their existing business as well, where not only are they offering the product, they're also offering an associated service that goes along with that product, right? So not only do you find a way to generate revenue for yourself for sustaining your business right now, but you also find a way how you can keep this up after the current scenario gets over, right? So you can have this as an additional source of revenue. So a lot of startups, even who are as part of Kolkata Ventures right now, whom I'm personally helping, this is one of the things that we are absolutely focusing on right now, is to identify those specific areas. So if say there's a particular package that is there as part of a product, if there is some 10 or 20% of that which is currently done online or could be done online, we move it online, try to create a product around it, add certain services along with it which can be imparted online, and try to sell that separately, right? And in many cases we have found a really good response even within a span of 1 month of launching such an initiative, right? So having something like that, we really see a potential in terms of taking it forward even after the situation recovers, since one of the great things about the current scenario is that people are forced to go online, and the cost of delivery in terms of delivering a product or service online is much lower than doing it physically, right? So that is something that becomes a really good cost advantage when you want to deliver this product or service, right? So these are the two key ways I feel that you can leverage in terms of generating cash. Obviously, in terms of actually monetizing, I did mention many more, but in terms of broad themes, I feel you can make money by offering your services, individual skills as services, or you can teach, right? So these are the two broad areas which I feel are definitely something we can do during this time to generate revenue. Avelo sir, would you like to add something?
No, I think that's brilliant. Thank you, Neeraj. Very kind of you. And I want others to ask questions now. If you have any questions for Neeraj, please, I'll stop sharing my screen. And there we are. Okay. Manish, Arfaq, Shamsman. Student, are the government-based funding such as big grant for startup incubation will be affected due to COVID-19? Will they reduce their overall funding? I don't have any information on it, but I highly doubt it because they're trying to really help boost the economy, not bust it. So probably not. Neeraj, you know anything about that?
One of the things one of the things that the government is doing, especially with the current financial initiatives, is that it's doing auto processing of loans, something that many of you probably already know. So it will be very easy to get loans now without collateral, right? Government is in fact assuming that a lot of people who take loans are going to default, and they have a separate fund for people defaulting, in fact. So though it's not an incentive to get free money, but at the same time, do know that this is something as a small business owner, you should definitely at least find out what this is and see if this is something you can leverage.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? All right. If there are no more questions, we will call it a night. We are done with this. So again, if you are interested in getting incubated by Kolkata Ventures, talk to Sarvanu or go to kolkataventures.com. On our website, there's an incubation page. There's startup resources, like I said, from Paytm, from AWS. We have lawyers, accountants, developers, designers, UI UX experts, you name it. We have it all under one umbrella. So we invite you to be part of the Kolkata Ventures family, and let's use COVID-19 as an opportunity to grow rather than see it as a fearful thing. Let's align ourselves with the demands that are going to come out of COVID-19. The future is going to be different. And I think this whole presentation gave you some leverage over understanding the different future that is going to be. And as an entrepreneur, see the bright side. And we are here to help you to make it big. And any way we can help, we are there for you. So thank you very much. Please fill out the feedback form that Sarvanu sends you, and the certificates will be sent to you thereafter. Have a good night, and I wish you all success. Thank you, Neeraj, again for making time.